Good morning and welcome to KGUA in Wallala, 88.3 FM. I'm your host today, Leanne Lindsay, film and voice producer from the Sea Ranch. And we have a great show lined up for you this morning with the Mendocino Film Festival, talking about the return of cinema in the Vineyards. And we'll have the executive director, Angela Montano, joining us momentarily, with also Jocelyn Thorson from Pennyroyal Farms in Anderson Valley. So that's coming up in just a moment. We've got a few events to get into on this chilly morning. Boy, is it misting over here on the coast. It should get up to about 60 degrees today. It's 56 degrees outside currently. And we do have the farmers markets both up in Point Arena today from 3 to 6 p.m. and in Wallala tomorrow from 9:30 to 12:30. And also the mid-month pay intake will be there as well. And then today we've got two great openings. For one is at Free Galaxy Cliff Center. They are doing their grand opening 2023 to 2024 gallery year. And their 4 to 6 p.m. is their reception. From 5 to 7 p.m. is the Gualala Arts Center. So they are having a big event this weekend. It's a fundraiser too. And that is a plein air affair art opening. And also they are having a Together for the Arts and Global Harmony that Fred Edler helped to put together. So the plein air affair art opening is 5 to 7 p.m. And that is today. And then tomorrow, all weekend, it's going to be Together for the Arts and Global Harmony. And the event will include music, drama, food, beverages, 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. And that's both Sunday and Saturday. So both days this weekend. And that's at the Wallala Arts. Also, Mill Bend is also having another open house this weekend to show you the newly restored Wallala Pioneer Cemetery. And that's at Mill Bend in Wallala. You can contact rclc.org for more information. And then there is also a cleanup day at Mill Bend from 1 to 3 p.m. If you'd like to participate, just contact RCLC and they're going to take out some of the invasive sprout weeding. So that should be happening this Saturday, come rain or shine. I think it's going to be a little misty. It's going to be cool this weekend. It definitely will be a little bit foggy. There is also a lighthouse lecture series at 4:00 with Sarah Bogart, and she's fabulous when she talked about the harbor seals and the species of the Point Arena Lighthouse and Stornetta public lands. So that's at the Point Arena Lighthouse Saturday at 4 p.m. And then there is a potluck picnic dinner up on the ridge, Ocean Ridge, and that is Sunday, September the 17th from, it doesn't say when. Anyway, you can contact 209-918-1223 for more information. And this is in the current ICO, the Independent Coast Observer, that you can pick up today at your local stores to find out more and to get that link. And then we have open night, mic night coming up at Point Arena Theater. That's the third Monday music series, and the featured guest band is Bryn and the Blue Souls. They are excellent performers, and that starts at 7 p.m. And then the Sea Ranch Thespians play does start this Thursday at the Nip Stingle Barn. That's the White Barn in the Sea Ranch, 4:00. You can get your tickets by calling 707-785-2548 or email Emery, that's Carol Emery, at mcn.org. And now we are going to, let's see, wait a minute, you guys, just one more thing, and that is I Am Democracy event is coming up September 23rd from 12 to 3:30 p.m. And that's an outside event at Kenny Jower's barn. And there's going to be all kinds of featured speakers, including Alexis Madrigal from KQED Forum. And then a bunch of other people will be talking, and good music, lots of booths set up. And that's starting at 12 and goes to 3:30 p.m. It's an outside event. And you can stop by our studios here in Cypress Village to get more information on that, or give us a call. And now we're going to talk about the return to the Cinema in the Vineyards, one of my favorite events that the Mendocino Film Festival does and has done in the past. And this one is October 7th and 8th this year. That's the second weekend in October. And joining us, we've got Angela Montano, who's the executive director of the festival, along with Penny Royal Farms, Jocelyn Thorson. And so welcome to KGUA, both of you.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning, Jocelyn. And I think we need to have your mic turned on, Angela.
Good morning. Thanks for having us.
I'm so glad you could come back and talk to us again. I'm so glad, Angela, you've put so much fire and energy back into the festival, and restarting the one in Anderson Valley is one of our favorites. We love driving through Anderson Valley. I've lived in the area of Mendocino since 1985. So I go back and forth between Mendocino and Sonoma counties, and it's just a lovely drive. And Penny Royal Farms, too, is gorgeous along there. So we can't wait to hear about that, too. Why don't you introduce your guest, as a matter of fact?
Well, Jocelyn actually reached out to me last year. She's been working at Penny Royal, and she's, from what I can see, she's a jack of all trades there, because she's an amazing graphic designer. She comes up with fantastic ideas, and she also works there doing everything they need her to do. And she reached out last year with this idea to revive Cinema in the Vineyards. After COVID, we hadn't done it for a while, and we were just sort of getting our, feet back under us after trying to figure out what events would be useful for people and helpful and fun and entertaining, and doing something outside still felt like something that would be more comfortable for people. And I was just thrilled. Last year we did the fantastic Mr. Fox movie, Wes Anderson, and it was just a big success. So Jocelyn reached out again, and she's the fire under this event. Jocelyn, why don't you talk about what made you want to do it again?
Of course. So I do have a background working in film festivals for about almost 5 festivals worth. I worked for the San Francisco International Film Festival. And so I love the idea of a community gathering that brings, folks locally as well as all over to, experience a film together. And especially at Penny Royal Farm, if you've ever visited, we have this beautiful area that overlooks the vineyard, and you can also see our milking parlor and barn. So, we're a working farm every day, but it's also, we understand that, by bringing people to the farm, you get this gorgeous view, but also you get the sense of, site specificity and this deep understanding of Anderson Valley and what we bring, to Mendocino County, as well as the rest of California and to the nation too. And so generating this idea again was really, in part because of love and passion for film and understanding that it's a community experience, but also providing another beautiful locale for Angela to present, being a new executive director to the Mendocino Film Festival. The two married together makes a great event. And it's also a family-friendly event at Penny Royal. And this year, the decision to expand it is also to bring other great, industry partners like Golden Eye Winery, as well as other wineries to that event, and another amazing view of vineyards in Anderson Valley, which is, really putting us on the map.
Well, we're really glad to have the Mendocino Film Festival back with us, because I, for one, have been a volunteer and sponsor of the event for the past decade. And I just love going up to Mendocino, to Fort Bragg, to Point Arena, wherever the films are being shown. It's just a wonderful experience to participate. And it seems like old home week when we all get back together each year. And then we really missed it when we were apart for the first couple of years of the pandemic. So Angela, we're really glad that you could join, and you've now done 2 festivals since you've started.
That's right. This will be my 3rd, and we are already planning it. Just when one festival ends, you immediately start thinking about the next festival. We have a new programmer this year. I think you might know her, Leanne. Her name's Claudia Puig. And she was our programmer a few years ago, and she went on to program for Santa Barbara, which is a big fancy festival with lots of celebrities. And she's, just a very established person in Los Angeles. She was the head of the LA Film Critics Association for a long time, and she has a lot of connections, and she's agreed to come back because
I'm
she's
so
kind of,
glad. I'm
yeah.
so
So she and Ann Walker, who is our other programmer, are actually in Toronto right now at the Toronto International Film Festival. And I think last time I talked to Ann, which was a couple days ago, she'd already seen 15 films. And, she was going to see probably 30 before she gets home. So they're looking for us already. And it's exciting to think about the new films that are going to be coming in June. I know there's a new Paul Simon documentary that just sounds incredible. So we'll see how that goes.
I saw their picture posted there on Facebook together up in Toronto, and I was glad to see them together. And I had no idea that Claudio would be coming back. That's great news.
Yeah, it's
Well,
going to be great. I did want to say about Cinema in the Vineyards that last year we just had such a great time, and the event sold out, and Jocelyn had this idea to make it a bigger event. And there's a lot of vineyards that are really interested in working with the festival and expanding this event. So we're going to see how it goes. Maybe we'll do more than 2 next year. We'll see. But GoldenEye was really interested in doing so Pennyroyal is doing a family-friendly event with Shaun the Sheep. And that's going to have a dinner attached to it, which, Jocelyn, do you have any details on that dinner?
We do. We just decided we're going to do shepherd's pie, as it's, very appropriate for the theme of the movie. But, we'll be using our estate potatoes, estate lamb, and then we do have a vegetarian option. We're going to use some local mushrooms. And then we also will do a farm salad, expect some of our delicious goat cheese on it. And then also we'll have a decadent chocolate cupcake. It'll be definitely likely looking like a sheep with some white frosting on top.
So cute.
And then of course we'll have, popcorn and beverages. So we also have our...
Talk to us about Shaun the Sheep.
Shaun the Sheep. Well, he wants a day off in terms of this film, as many sheep do. They like to jump the fence and go somewhere else. But while there are consequences to that decision for that day, that he decides to leave the farm and go into the big city, and him with a flock of other sheep, encounter many city circumstances in terms of like animal control, trying to disguise themselves as humans, getting impounded, as well as also trying to save their shepherd, who happens while trying to, I don't want to give it all away. Let's just say that. There's a lot that it is an animated film by Aardvark Films. So if you've ever watched Wallace and Gromit or Chicken Run, it's the same animators. So it's claymation, stop motion animation. And we actually screened it at the International Film Festival for a special screening event many moons ago when it first came out. So I was happy to bring it here to Anderson Valley, and especially being on a farm where we utilize sheep in our vineyards to graze and sucker the vines. And then we also have a small flock of dairy ewes that we milk and then blend the milk with our goat cheese. So it's a goat cheese milk cheese. It's seasonally.
Well, if you're just tuning in, you're listening to the voice of Jocelyn Thorson of Pennyroyal Farms in Anderson Valley. And this is a day that we are talking about cinema in the vineyards with the Mendocino Film Festivals. And we have Angela Montano, who is the executive director, talking with us as well about this event that's happening on October 7 and 8, Saturday and Sunday. And I'm Leanne Lindsay, your host today on KGUA in Wallala 88.3 FM, and we stream around the world at kgua.org with our web app. You can download that to any internet device, carry us with you. And this is a day that we want to really explore more about the Mendocino Film Festival, and we're even doing it live on YouTube. So I just want to let everybody know that if you want to listen later, watch it later, it's going to be on our KGUA channel. And it will repeat today at 1 o'clock. And also we will upload it to SoundCloud and share it on social media later. So Angela, tell me about what people can expect is it just one venue that you're holding? Tell us more about that.
Actually, we're doing 2 nights this time. Last year we did one night at Pennyroyal, and this year we're going to do a second night at Goldeneye Vineyard.
which I love. That's a
Oh,
beautiful
yeah, it's so
vineyard.
beautiful. And they're actually partnering with a few other vineyards, Maggie Hawk, Domaine Anderson, and Longmeadow Ranch. So they're all going to be participating, and you'll be able to buy a glass of wine. And that film will be Hitchcock's Rear Window, which is just one of my favorite films of all time, with Jimmy Stewart
Absolutely.
and
Yes.
Grace Kelly. It's just a classic tale. It's actually a good COVID tale because he's stuck in his apartment, if everyone remembers, with the broken leg, and ends up getting into trouble just observing all of his neighbors and their goings on throughout the film. And that's going to be an over 2021 screening. So the Pennyroyal will be a very family friendly, more cozy kind of event. And the Goldeneye is going to be a little more sophisticated, adult evening of entertainment. So I think it's going to be a really good mixture for people. I know a lot of people have already bought tickets to both. They're going to be really great events with kind of a little bit of a different tone. The Goldeneye event will have pizza from Cafe Beaujolais.
Oh,
And
nice.
there'll be, both events will have popcorn and cheese and little snacks that you can buy. And, it's just so gorgeous to be outside in these places. We're so privileged to be able to drive around Mendocino County and just experience almost different ecosystems. You drive 5 miles in a direction and you're in a different world, and both places just feel magical. And it's, I think, elevating the films in a way that turns them into these experiential, evenings that are unforgettable, really. I mean, I still have people coming up to me and talking about how much fun they had last year, and they brought their kids and the kids loved it. And, the kids kind of run around a little bit before the film. And, at Pennyroyal, they get to look at the animals, and then seeing the animals on screen, it's just so special.
I know you got some high claim and accolades for doing the cinema with the train in Fort Bragg, where you take the train out to this beautiful little place in the redwoods, and it's a magical evening of cinema in the redwoods. But this is cinema in the Vineyards, and this is in Anderson Valley. And what time does the first one start? On October 7th, which is a Saturday. And is that the one at Goldeneye?
The Saturday is going to be at Pennyroyal, and
That's the first one. Okay.
Yeah, it's going to open a little bit early with dinner, which is going to start at 5 to 6:30. So if people want to get there early, they can hang out and set up their blanket or bring their chairs. There's also tables for sale if people want to be a little more fancy and go with a group of friends and buy a table. And then the film will start at 7. And same at Goldeneye, they're going to open the doors at about 6:30, and then the film will start at 7 there as well. We have to wait till it gets dark enough to show a movie outside, and definitely people should bring a sweater. We never know what the weather's going to be like here. It could be warm, it could be cool. We'll have some blankets for people if they need them, and we recommend bringing layers for sure.
Yeah, you were talking about all the different ecosystems. We have all these microclimates across Mendocino County that just depends on which pocket you're in. And sometimes it's a banana belt, and sometimes it's not. And sometimes it gets cooler because it's in a valley area there. But that sounds lovely, especially hanging out at Pennyroyal Farms, and then Goldeneye Vineyards as well, watching movies outside under the stars, if the sky is clear, that is. And so what more can you tell us about what is happening as far as what people need to do to get their tickets? I know that September 15th, which is today, is a special, they can still get a special deal.
Yeah, Jocelyn, do you want to talk about that?
Sure. Let's see. So we have early bird tickets on sale right now. The easiest way for Sean the Sheep, because I know I set this up, it's pennyroyalfarm.com/ticket. And under the order tickets link, you'll see the different groups, and the early bird code is early bird, all caps. And then early bird, made it simple. And then there's also under the general admission ticket options, we also have a youth ticket for ages 3 to 15, or a little bit older, sorry, 3 to 18, which are $15. And then, yeah, under 3 is free. because we understand the little ones sometimes are not really paying attention, but we love to bring them along. And then also, if you are members of Pennyroyal Farm, Goldeneye Winery, Maggie Hawk, Domain Anderson, we also have a member discount that will be through till the day of the event that you can utilize that member discount. And that also.
Go ahead.
Oh, and that will get you 20% off tickets as well as tables.
Excellent. Well, it sounds like a fun weekend to get away, actually, to Anderson Valley and spend both days there. Get an Airbnb or one of the other lodging options that are available in Anderson Valley, or in Ukiah, Ukiah or Mendocino, and make the drive back and forth. It's a beautiful, beautiful drive. If we're broadcasting around the world, so this is just to let our listeners know, this is a beautiful pocket of tons of vineyards, boutique vineyards and olive groves, and the Pennyroyal Farm that has their sheep and producing the great cheese that I just adore to get. And then the climate and the weather and the location in Mendocino itself, right on the ocean, or inland in Ukiah where it's warmer. You've got a lot of different choices to attend this particular event. And again, it is in October, the first weekend, the 7th and the 8th. And you guys were just saying that the dinner starts a little early at Pennyroyal Farms on Saturday, right, Angela?
That's right. And you can get, as Jocelyn said, last year they did just an incredible meal for fantastic Mr. Fox. And they always just up the charm with the cutest tie-in to the film. And, this year by having a film about a sheep, and they have sheep and they have their goats, and you can see them and they get milked, and it's just so charming. And then the food is incredible, very fresh and farm to table. And it kind of just really ups the whole experience for everyone. It's going to be a great, great night. I really hope people can make it.
Yeah, Jocelyn, why don't you tell the little history about Pennyroyal Farms and the layout that people can expect there if they've never been? I think that you're
sorry. Yeah, so it's 23 acres of vines, and it constitutes about a 100-acre estate. And on that estate, as you drive in, you'll see one side is all vineyard. Then we have a beautiful culinary garden, and then our tasting room. And where our tasting room is actually our farmstead creamery. And literally there's a path from the back of the building that goes all the way up to the milking parlor. You can actually walk this path if you're a visitor. We're open daily from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. And there we milk small groups of our goats and sheep, and literally roll the milk back up to the back of the building and start making cheese daily. And then we have this beautiful, gorgeous red barn that you'll see as you drive by, either on Highway 128. We're right at the corners of Highway 128 and 253. So depending on how you get into the Mendocino to go to the coast, you'll definitely pass by us.
Just north, just on the edge, going out of town from Boonville.
Correct. It's like the entrance to Anderson Valley, or exit, depending if you're coming from the coast. And in our barn, we have 100 goats and then 30 dairy ewes. And then from all the barn waste, we have these gorgeous compost mounds in the backside of the property where we actually utilize that waste to make compost. We actually inoculate it with a whey, the leftover from making cheese. And then we apply all that compost to the vineyard. So we're a regenerative farm. And then you'll notice that in our vineyard, our vines are actually a lot taller than most of the vineyards around. And we actually grow them 1.5 feet taller. So that way the sheep, we share a flock with Navarro Vineyards, which is our parental estate, the home branch that the owner, Sarah Cobb Bennett, and her family started in the late 70s. They were one of the first of 3 vineyards here in Anderson Valley to start growing Pinot Noir and producing wine from this area. So the flock of sheep will be grazing around the vineyard. We keep some, in the spring, we have upwards of almost like 200 sheep. And then we keep a small group year round to keep on grazing and suckering the vines. And that really helps to reduce the amount of labor that's needed in the vineyard. And it's also, very beneficial in terms of their own manure gets applied to the vineyard as well. And we're actually reducing carbon that way.
That's
So
really great.
yeah, and we do have daily farm tours too, so you can learn more about this estate. But yeah, if you come to this event, it's right before it begins, right around our milking time. So you'll actually see the goats walk up from the barn to the milking parlor during that first hour of dinner. And then as soon as they're done milking, we'll actually is when we'll start the screening at 6:30. But it's a beautiful, it's the golden hour of the evening. You'll see the goats grazing. And then last year we even had the grazing sheep come up and run past the screen because we put it on a flatbed truck trailer. So you'll definitely be well situated before the screening of Shaun the Sheep movie. You'll be on a farm watching a movie about farm animals and their farm, as well as their escape to the city.
Well, I think this is something my parents would love to see as well if they were alive, because they put their own vineyards back in 2002, and that was 22 acres of Cabernet. And we put in about 10 acres of olive trees and lots of orchards. And they loved farming, especially my dad. And that's up in actually Redwood Valley, north of Ukiah, down Reeves Canyon, down where the original home of Seabiscuit used to be. It used to be the southwestern portion of Ridgewood Ranch. And so we know all about what it takes to maintain those vineyards and harvest the crop every year. When's your harvest, by the way?
Let's see. Harvest just began last week. We picked for sparkling wine. So of the 23 acres of vines, there are 15 of Pinot Noir and then 8 of Sauvignon Blanc. And then we're looking maybe this weekend or early next to pick for Rosé. And then we'll pick for Rouge. Right now the bricks are hovering around 20 if you want to talk about wine. So we're waiting them to get a little bit higher. And then Sauvignon Blanc should be closer to the end of the month of the September. Yeah, but harvest has started in Anderson Valley for sparkling, because as you know, we have Roeder Estate, and most wineries now are producing a sparkling in addition to rosé.
Angela, why don't we talk a little bit about the 2024 Film Festival in June? At the end.
I was just going to say, if you need a reason to remember why this place is magical and beautiful that we get to live in, go to Pennyroyal Farm. It's just incredible there. So this year's festival it's always the weekend after Memorial Day, which this next year will start May 30th, which is a Thursday, and we'll go to June 2nd. And we'll have all of the films and the parties and everything that everyone always loves about the film festival. We're working hard on getting a celebrity this year because people really like that. Oh, yeah. And makes it a little more starry and fun.
Pierce Brosnan really kicked it up a notch that one year.
He really did. It's hard to compete with Pierce Brosnan, but we're gonna try. I did want to mention we have films that we're showing at Coast Cinema in Fort Bragg, and we've been doing a classic film every month there and an independent film every month there. And our next film is September 20th, and it'll be an independent film called Past Lives, which, if anyone has heard about it, I think it's maybe the best film of the year this year. Leanne, have you heard of it?
I have heard of it, but I don't know much about it.
You haven't seen it?
No.
It's a female director, Celine Song, and it's a love triangle. It's very gorgeous and emotional, and it's about this young South Korean woman whose family moves to the United States when she's a child, and she leaves behind her childhood friend, and they're just these very close. He's a young boy and they love each other, and she moves to the United States and becomes an American and grows up and gets married, and just a part of her always longs for her friend and what he represents as sort of her life in South Korea, where she just feels very torn about who she is. Is she Korean? Is she Korean American? Is she American? And she has this American husband and then this Korean childhood friend who she just still feels she has unfinished business with. So it's just a gorgeous film about longing and identity. And I hope people will come and see it because I think it'll really be a memorable experience.
Well, I will see that one for sure. And I I was really hoping that we could get our own documentary finished, Seabiscuit's Legacy, by next summer, but we will just be in post-production in the spring and probably finishing around the end of May. So I'm not sure we'll get it in this year, but perhaps the following 2025. But that's that story about healing with horses and special needs children who are making great strides at Ridgewood Ranch today, the home of Seabiscuit. So we will hopefully bring it to you when it's ready, but it's moving along. We've done a lot of great film shoots, and we've got a great editor in Los Angeles who has started on it now. So
I can't wait to see it.
yeah, I'm excited. We have one more film shoot to do next month, middle of the month, down in Central California. And we did one in Denver recently, and it went really well. But I just love film, of course. So I love talking film. I love talking to the Mendocino Film Festival. It's close to my heart. So many of our, it's like hometown with all the volunteers who return every year to help the festival be the jewel that it is in Mendocino County. And this year we've got Penny Royal Farms and we've got GoldenEye Vineyards, October 6th and 7th. We are so looking forward to this event, both of you. Thank you so much for joining us today on KGUA. We've had Angela Montano, who's the executive director from the Mendocino Film Festival, and Jocelyn Thorson of Penny Royal Farms. Thank you both for coming on the show this morning.
Thank you so much, Leanne.
Is there any last thing that you wanted to say before we head out?
Well, it's October 7th and 8th, actually. So I
What
thought
did I
I'd bring
say?
that out.
What date did I say?
6 and 7.
Oh, 6th and 7th and 8th, everybody. And you can go to mendocinofilmfestival.org for more information. And thank you, Jocelyn. I'm looking forward to seeing Penny Royal Farms too. I love that area. All
Yes,
right.
please come visit.
All right. Thank you so much. You guys have a wonderful day.
Thank
All
you.